Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be about 8 gaslighting mind games that narcissists play to distract you from your reality, to excuse themselves of their behaviour and get you to question your behaviour. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers. If you are new to the channel, this channel is all about the narcissist personality disorder, to give you more understanding of the people you might have been dealing with throughout your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact, how to recognise their behaviour, how to handle your emotions, and different methods to find what works for you to recover from narcissistic abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. So gaslighting is emotional abuse to get you to question your thoughts, your feelings, your intentions, your memories, your beliefs, your opinions, your ideas, and events that happened in the past, events happening in the present, and events happening in the future with their future faking. The most common signs that you have or you are being gaslighted is when you find yourself apologising often to people or apologising in advance to people, apologising for things that you haven't even done, walking on eggshells around people, doing your best trying not to upset other people, beginning to feel less confident in yourself and not very confident in your own abilities, fearful of trying new things, fearing making a mistake or people might judge you. No longer feeling like yourself, or if you were raised by narcissistic parents, you may never have been able to truly define who you are as a person. Feeling like whatever you say or whatever you do is wrong, overanalyzing things before you say them for fear of someone taking offence to you. Questioning yourself, questioning your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, questioning if you're too sensitive, questioning if you're over emotional, questioning your intentions behind your own behaviour. And remember, with good intentions, there is no wrong way or right way to live your life. There is only your way. If you went into something with good intentions, don't let someone else gaslight you into believing your intentions were not what they were when you first started out on something. And self-blame, blaming yourself for everything, finding something to blame yourself if other people aren't already blaming you, playing down other people's behaviour and taking all the responsibility on as your own. So there's pretty much a cycle that narcissistic people follow, as well as the cycle of the patterns of behaviour of that individual narcissist, the cycle of going through one partner to the next of that individual narcissist. Most narcissistic people, because they don't recognise the errors in their ways, they don't particularly learn or grow or develop. So throughout their life, they keep repeating the same cycle, never breaking free from their own toxic actions. When it comes to gaslighting another person, a narcissist will have often felt criticised in some way. They may feel shame, they may feel embarrassed, they might not even recognise it. This might be coming from their shadow side. I shall link this video up here. They might not even recognise that they are feeling humiliated. They might indeed be feeling neglected within themselves. They might be fearing rejection from somebody else. They might be living in fear of abandonment from another person. So on some level, whether it is perceived or real, the narcissist feels threatened. And instead of opening up their vulnerabilities and communicating it with someone else, because they often see this as a weakness, they then go on the defensive and often project who they are or their intentions onto other people so that they can escape accountability of their own feelings and pass those on to those around them. So number one, a narcissist might use negative humour. This is when they will criticise, humiliate, shame, judge and name call, do something to get at you, do something because they feel themselves brought down. They do something to bring you down, to raise themselves up. And then when you call them out on this behaviour, again, as they don't want to be humiliated or judged for their own toxic behaviour, they will turn it back onto you and say, I'm only joking. Can you not take a joke? Why are you being so sensitive? Oh, you're so dramatic all the time. I was only messing around. Why do you always have to be so serious? And a narcissist will purposefully hurt somebody and then claim they were joking when they're called out on this behaviour. Yes, people can unintentionally hurt somebody and they might have meant something as a joke, but if someone was to speak to them about this, most healthy people that can recognise their own behaviour and recognise and empathise with other people's feelings would take a step back and analyse the situation in its entirety and possibly apologise to the person because they didn't mean it in the way the other person took it, and then not repeat that behaviour towards that person again because they'd understand who that person is. There would be two-way communication going on as people learn about each other in order to understand and help each other. With a narcissist, they lack the empathy to care. So once you explain to a narcissist how they've hurt your feelings, they will then use this against you time and time again to hurt your feelings, to get you to question who you are as a person and not who they are as a person. 2, projection. So again, when the narcissist is feeling something like shame, or if they've done something that would provoke feelings of guilt, they will pass the guilt over to somebody else. They will make somebody else feel guilty for their behaviour, for the narcissist's behaviour. They will say to other people things like, if you loved me, you would. Or they will come at you with things like, it's not all about you, when you want to have a conversation about something, to work on some differences, to find that middle ground, to have that mutual understanding, or if you want to go out somewhere, or if you'd like to do something for yourself. A narcissist is extremely entitled to having things their own way, and they like to have control. So by saying to you, it's not all about you, gets you to question if you're putting your needs too much before theirs, so that you stop working on your own needs and focus on their needs. Not realising by not taking care of yourself, they are then slowly going to sink you so that they can then control who you are as a person, control your reality, control where you go, control what you do, control who you speak to, control your daily routine. And with projection, when you turn around and question them about something, they will turn around and say things like, I'm not dancing to your tune, you're so controlling. They twist what they are doing straight back round at you. And because you are aware of who you are as a person, because you are aware of other people's feelings and care for other people. And because they say it so convincingly well, and in some aspects what they say can make sense, even if it's used, they're using it out of context. So although it can make sense, it's being used out of context to get you to question your motives and not theirs. 3, when they just play dumb. That didn't happen. It wasn't that bad. You're imagining things again. When they just completely decide to forget what happened and claim that you're the one going crazy because you remember something that did happen that they're trying to say didn't happen. When they just start denying anything and everything they can to excuse themselves of something by claiming it never happened. And then, to top it off, they will stand back and watch you going crazy, trying to prove to them your reality. And they will put the icing on the cake by turning around and saying that you're going crazy. And instead of us remembering our own reality and what truly happened, because of all the other manipulation that a narcissist is doing to us, we are the ones that question if we are indeed going crazy, rather than questioning the fact that they're not even willing to communicate with us to try and work things out. 4, they will play the victim. They will lie. They will tell half-truths. They will exaggerate stories to justify their treatment of others. They will bait you into reacting so that they can blame you for your reactions and not their behaviour. And as we know that our reactions are wrong, we blame ourselves for our reactions and dismiss their behaviour. If you listen to a narcissist closely enough, they often hold a lot of grudges against people. They don't take any form of responsibility for their own behaviour unless it's in a way they can make themselves look good. And they will say to you, if only they hadn't, if only you hadn't. So they are gaslighting you into shifting the blame over to you, playing the victim to make you feel guilty for things that you haven't even done. Or feel sympathy towards them for things that have happened to them that might have actually happened to them, but they've exaggerated, or things that they claim to have happened to them that never did. Which leads on to number 5, the blame game. A narcissist will always be looking for a way to project and pass the blame onto somebody else. The whataboutism. What about when you? What about when they? What about is something a narcissist will use to shift the blame onto somebody else. Narcissists tend to have a selective memory. They also have that sense of entitlement. They are also very hypocritical. They kind of live by one rule for them and another rule for you. So they are entitled to bring something up from the past that you may have made a mistake on, that you did as a one-off, you learned and you didn't do it again. Yet if you were to bring something up in their past that they have done time and time and time again, they switch into that playing dumb of that never happened. So they're allowed to remember all your mistakes, all your failings, all your wrongdoings, all your vulnerabilities, but you are not allowed to bring up any of theirs. And if you do, they will deny all knowledge or carry on shifting the blame over to you. 6, when that doesn't work, they will withhold all communication. This is when they can be in the same house and they can just drop into the sulk mode, or they can fall full on silent treatment you, they can ghost you, they can disappear on you, they can turn around and say, I don't want to argue with you, we'll talk about this later. We've already discussed this. And in that discussion, they went through all the different manipulation methods they use of denial, projection, blame shifting, silent treatment, sulks, word salad, anything they can so that there is no actual closure to the conversation. They leave it open so that you ask them again and again. They will tell you things like, we've already discussed this, which in one sense they're right. You might have already discussed it. The fact remains you didn't draw a conclusion over it. 7, intrigue. They will purposefully cause that intrigue within you. They will purposefully talk about somebody in a highly complimentative way in front of you, so that you start to question what's actually happening. And then if you were to ask them about it, they will claim that you're hung up on your past or that you're too jealous. They can smear their ex to you one minute, and then the next minute they can be praising their ex and saying, my ex would have done it for me, to confuse you, to hurt you, to get you to question yourself. And if you bring up what they had said about the past, this is when they will use their selective memory and play dumb about things they've said in the past. They'll start accusing you of being too sensitive, of losing your mind, because you've pulled them out on their behaviour. They don't want to admit fault. They don't want to be held responsible. They don't want to be accused of lying when they are indeed. No one likes to be called a liar. When a narcissist is lying and doesn't want you to find out about those lies, they are going to do all they can to distract you from those lies and from the truth by getting you to focus on your emotional feelings and your reactions to their behaviour rather than their behaviour. 8, blatantly lying. And they lie in so many different ways to escape accountability of who they are as a person and the things that they do to other people, to hide their true intentions away from other people. There's many different ways a narcissist will lie to you, but one of those is lying through omission, which also causes that intrigue. So they can just purposefully leave out information or intentionally forget to tell you something. And then when you ask them about it, or if you start looking to find information, because we are human, we are curious, we do want to know reality, we want to know the truth. So when we start finding reality for ourselves and then go to them with facts and evidence, they accuse us of being untrustworthy. They will say, don't you trust me? And they will twist it back around onto how your response to their behaviour was in the wrong. They will say things to you like, I didn't tell you because I knew you couldn't handle it. I didn't tell you because I knew you'd react like this. I didn't tell you because it's not a big deal. They didn't tell you because they didn't want to suffer any consequences for their actions. When it comes to a narcissist, they lack empathy to care about other people. They have a willingness to exploit other people because they feel entitled to get their needs met. They are preoccupied with their ideal of life and often preoccupied with cheating their way to get their needs met by exploiting other people. Whatever they are doing is to meet a need of their own. they are not doing anything to help other people unless it helps themselves. So a few steps to recovery are: number one, radical acceptance of who they are and what you have lived through. Sometimes we can downplay it as a defense mechanism, and if you can downplay it and move on with your life, then that method works for you. Other times we have to accept it for our true reality of everything that went on. It's not an easy process, but the process is worth it. 2, going no contact with the narcissist. So you can start to work out your own thought process again and shift out how your subconscious has been trained to think by them. If you cannot go no contact, it needs to be limited contact and grey rock. 3, you have to learn to stop blaming yourself for other people's mistreatment of you. Yes, we have to recognise who we are as a person. We have to recognise who they are as a person. We have to learn our beliefs, our values, our boundaries. We have to grow as a person so that it doesn't happen again. At the time it happened, most often you didn't know any difference. You believed they were coming from the same sort of place that you're coming from. You believed through their mirroring, love bombing, idolisation, future faking, that they wanted the same things out of life as you do. We have to stop shaming victims and start blaming the people that go around hurting other people, shaming victims to excuse their behaviour. We have to accept responsibility for our own behaviour, as this is what is the difference between us and somebody with a narcissist personality disorder. We can accept responsibility for our own behaviour. We can change our behaviour. A narcissist is unwilling to accept responsibility for their own behaviour, and is only willing to change their behaviour if they can gaslight somebody into getting their own needs met. So yes, we do have to be responsible for our own behaviour, but we have to pass responsibility back to the rightful owner for theirs. And 4, getting it out of your headspace, be it writing it all down, writing exactly what happened, writing what they said, and writing the truth, writing reality, staying in your reality, writing your truth out, or getting validation from other people, whether that's support groups, friends, family, therapists, whatever it is, reading articles, finding your validation that what you went through isn't normal, that what that person did to you isn't right, but what you went through and how you felt about it is normal. You are not alone. 4, speaking to someone, gaining that validation of what you have lived through, whether that's joining support groups, whether that's writing it all out and getting down what they sold to you and what true reality is, finding the right therapist, reading the right articles, talking to friends or family, finding the right support for you to validate that how you feel and how you behaved under the circumstances is normal, and how you can process that to reclaim your reality. Work on who you are as a person in the present and building on that to create a brighter future for yourself. There's no end of mind games a narcissist will play to achieve their needs. If anyone has any that they've been through that I haven't included into the video, please do drop it into the comments to make other people aware of the mind games that narcissistic people play. Thank you very much for listening, and remember, if you will find your happiness again, you will find your joy again, you will find your passion again, you will find who you are again, and you will begin to make life work for you. Thank you for listening, and go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.